Welcome everyone to Tales from the CTO, where we will be discussing on an ongoing basis some of the questions that I come across when speaking with some of our customers and some of the things and news that I hear in the industry, and really trying to figure out how to, kind of translate that and make it meaningful for you as a business leader, as a non-technical individual looking to gain some insight and figure out how you're going to manage the technology assets inside of your business. I'm your host, Jamie McMahon. I'm the CTO at ProServeIT. And today, for this, I think one of the topics that's been really front and center in a lot of the conversations I've been having has been around data, and specifically has been around how to create insights from your data, how to make your data actionable. And one of the things that I find is a really great quote, and I can't actually attribute this to whomever made this up, but it wasn't me; it was someone smarter than me. But effectively, they said, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And I think that's so true, both in life as well as in business. Specifically in business, where we see the questions that we get quite often are, if I need to take advantage of my data, where do I start? What do I need to track? What do I need to do? What are the systems I need to put in place? All of that kind of stuff. And I think those are all really great questions and things that we need answers to. But what I find sometimes is that even to kind of get to those answers, we may need to ask more questions or perhaps different questions. And so the first questions that we try to start with are more around trying to understand what is it that we're actually trying to achieve. So I'll give you an example. I know that many businesses are going through and evaluating, do I need to replace my ERP, for example, or do I need to replace my finance system? Is it future-proof? Is it secure enough? Is it, going to help us in our next growth phase? And I think, to kind of get some insights from that, from your systems itself now, we want to understand, what actually are you trying to achieve with that system? Do you have any metrics or something that you can attribute to that system that you can actually measure to say, if these results were met, then I would, recognize this or determine this as a success. And if you know what those are, maybe it's usage, for example. That tends to be a very generic attribute of success in any kind of software. Is you need to make sure that you're able to measure it, and then from that you're able to understand a lot. So really, we want to understand what outcome are you trying to achieve, what insight are you trying to uncover. We also want to know, where is the data coming from. So as I mentioned, let's say usage in this example, if the system that we're trying to evaluate whether it's actually a fit or not, or whether it's a fit or working for the business, if we can't measure whether people are performing specific intentional actions, then we actually have a difficulty in creating and achieving insights from the data itself. So we do need to know where the data will come from, and then if the data is clean or not, i.e., the actual accuracy of the data itself. Have people been putting in data accurately? This is kind of one of those typical things inside of CRMs, for example. We see that all the time, where salespeople are not necessarily the most diligent when it comes to CRM funnel hygiene, so to speak. And finally, when we're trying to figure out what insights to achieve, it's also important to understand who is going to use those insights. Who is the data for? Is it for a business leader? Is it for a functional leader? Is it for a team leader? And depending on who we're trying to target that information for, the outcome they're trying to achieve will be different. Therefore, the insights they're looking to uncover is probably different. Therefore, the data that we're looking to try and tap into is probably different as well. So, all that being said, how do we get started? So it's important, I think, to understand in data projects, as well as anything really in life, or at least anything in terms of business, when we're endeavoring on a new technology journey, we have to start small and get a quick win. So it's very enticing or very appetizing, perhaps, to do some really great whiteboarding, figure out exactly where we want to spend some time, what amazing insights we want to uncover. However, we find that kind of an agile, iterative process tends to be far more effective, because we're able to learn much more quicker and not invest so much into data or actions that may not actually get the result we're looking for. It's also important that we see when we're looking for insights, especially in data, is it's trying to understand what the leading indicators are. So in the example of a CRM, you see this quite often where a sales leader will measure, for example, how many meetings has someone booked, or how many opportunities do they have in the funnel. All of those are really leading indicators of revenue, or deals closed, which tends to be the actual lagging indicator or the indicator that we're trying to track. But we want to focus the insights on things that can lead to that. And that's where we want to derive wisdom from. Another observation that we've come across is that we kind of feel like data can be a drug. And I mean that in that it's addictive. Once you've got one report, once you have one piece of information for your business, it quickly gets your mind going and saying, oh, I now want to know these 3 other things, and they're critical in helping me achieve the results I want. But it's, again, going back to get a quick win, focus on leading indicators. Doing too much can be as poor as not having any data at all, because then you get into paralysis by analysis, over inundation with data. The last is, and kind of to sum it all up, then we want to be very intentional. We want to be focused. We want to zero in on the places where we feel are most impactful for the business and grow from there. So from a summary perspective, I think when we're looking at data, it's really ask really great questions of yourself, ask really good questions of your teams in terms of the insights you're trying to uncover, where to begin this journey, where's the data going to come from, who's the intended audience for that data. And then when we actually do get started, let's be focused, start small, focus on the leading indicators, and don't overdo it when you start. That's all for today, and thank you very much.